Welcome back for the second segment of the June 24th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Eric Donovan.
Two more races to bring you in this segment, both turf races, both from Sunday, and they're actually back-to-back races, 5 and 6. We'll start off with the fifth, the $25,000 maiden claimer for fillies and mares. We're going to take a look at the two-horse in here, Hoop Skirt, a horse that went off the favorite in this race, and, we'll probably go favorite again off this trip.
Yeah, and listen, we're not saying Hoop Skirt can't win against these horses. She might be able to, but I think we both agree that she's just the kind of horse that puts herself into positions where she gets into trouble, and she's a good horse to continue to bet against, unless for some reason they decide to utilize the speed she once had.
Yeah, right now she's toward the back of the pack, second from last on the screen at this point here, down inside, so you can kind of, envision where we're going here with this horse and what's going to happen with the trip that Hoop Skirt has. On the other hand, this race was, a race where I thought Far Isle should have been the favorite and Hoop Skirt should have been second choice, but that's besides the point. It wasn't a very strong field, and Hoop Skirt, with this kind of effort here, is going to take a lot of money. Next start out, trained by Bill Mott, and a horse that is going to have a trouble line, and even Tom Durkin said in the race call that trouble as well. So she's a horse that's going to get it from both angles there. If you're watching a replay or looking at the past performances,
right? And people are going to see this past performance and see 265 favorite, Bill Mott, big trouble line. Blah, 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 and you're betting a horse that, even if you take away this race, she's just not that compelling. And Eric's right, she shouldn't have been favored in this race. And this is something we said before the race, by the way, on the air, so it's not as though this comes out of nowhere. And I just don't know how good she is. I mean, there's no denying that she had a trouble trip in this race, because you're going to see it. Because she's going to angle out when they come in the stretch and get completely stymied and be forced to go inside. She had no real run after that, but on the other hand, she's a cheaper horse. How much is she going to be able to withstand? As you see her getting completely bottled up and blocked in there, she may be a tricky horse to ride. I'm not sure if next time she runs, if she was my horse, I wouldn't think, you know what, let's try to utilize that speed she once had and put her more in the game. It can't be any worse, Eric.
Right.
It's not like this method is working out. And frankly, you look at this race, horses near the front end, say perhaps Time Marches On, who's one I want to watch off the claim next time she runs. Pretty much the speed held together near. So Hoop Skirt was against it in a bit from a dynamic standpoint.
Yeah, I still would have liked to have seen her, if you wanted to like her off this trip next time, and I still would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of her in the stretch, even though the pace did hold on. I would have liked to have seen her getting a little bit closer to that second pack of horses for second and third there.
I can see that. I just think with these cheaper horses, there's only so much acceleration they're going to have, and she had trouble, but I agree. She just feels like a horse that, so she had trouble. Okay, do you really want her anyway?
Now we'll take a look at another horse here, and this one, Giappi. This is a $50,000 starter allowance going a mile 16th on the inner turf. Of course, Giappi's going to break from the inside with that quick turn left on the backstretch. And you see Giappi show some speed here out of the gate, actually in front for a stride or two here. But the horse at Giappi's outside is going to go on with the lead, and as they make that bend into the backstretch, jockey Jose Espinosa is going to take back a little bit. Then the whole field just loops Giappi here, goes from first to second to last here rather quickly.
Right, except the horse who is last, behind the second to last of Giappi, is the eventual winner, Longhammer.
But
and the
Longhammer wasn't up front in the beginning stages of the race.
Yeah, but that's where the horse broke, and he didn't want to be any near with the lead, so he took the horse back. I think he did the right shot. I mean, you and I see this race completely differently. This horse that goes to the front, Hammock, just was off a layoff, completely evaporates and runs last. He didn't want to be part of that pace, and justifiably so. He ended up back in the pack where the winner was. The winner's a much better horse than him, and Giappi's going to run against easier field next time he runs. You and I disagree about this race. Other than taking the horse inside in the stretch, we'll see. I just think Giappi finished where he was going to finish.
All right, well, we'll see about that next time out. But right here, obviously not a bad spot that Espinosa ended up in down the backstretch with the runaway winner in here, runaway leader, I should say, Hammock, who's going to tire in the stretch here. Hammock's got about a 5-length lead on the rest of the field in here. So, you kind of want to be toward the back. You kind of want to be toward the inside, which is where Jose Espinosa is at this point. Aboard Giappi, there's a chance at the top of the stretch where he can get out. He likes kind of to stay inside there. Can't really ride him. And what I'd like about it is that he did show a little bit of punch, I think, down the stretch there to come on for fourth. But we'll see, as we get close to the top of the stretch, exactly where Giappi is. And Jose Espinosa is going to have a tough choice here. Do you just try to keep saving ground and try to get lucky with the seam inside, or do you try to tip out at this point and have a cleaner run outside?
He should have tipped outside. He made a mistake in here. It's easy for us to sit up here. We're not riding him, and it's after the fact, but he should have tipped outside and tried to follow the eventual winner in this race. He wouldn't have. He might have finished third. He wasn't going to run first or second in this race. I think your point is reasonably well taken. Jason had liked this horse last time. He got beaten a dirty nose at a big price, and pointing out that he felt that Giappi had improved. And I think that's a valid point. I think that's part of your point here. He's a better horse than he was, because even finishing where he did in this race is okay for the old Giappi, who wouldn't have been competitive here. The thing is, he had dynamics so much in his favor. I'm not sure, once again, that Hammock isn't the horse I'd be a little more interested in second off a layoff, because it felt like this race was a real prep for him.
Yeah, maybe he'll turn back in distance or something like that.
Well, I don't. He's going to go to Saratoga where he's done okay. He's not really a winner type. Yeah. No, I wouldn't mind a mile, but I think a more comfortable position. I don't know if he'll win, but I think he'll be a bigger price. We'll see with Giappi, but he is an improved horse.
Yeah, I don't know. We see it a little bit differently, which is one of the great things about the racetrack. Different opinions abound throughout the building all day long.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he beats Hyper, but Hyper was a disappointment coming out of this race. He was the first mover, but he was 3 to 5.
I think he needs to go back into a 20 claimer and not to try these starter allowances.
I wouldn't put him in a 20 claimer, but we'll discuss that where he shows up next time. Anyway, once again, we need your help. Viewer comments are appreciated. Trips and traps at NYRank.com.
Thanks for watching.